Hi, my name is Hilda, and this is my Druid life. You can think of Druidry as a way of life, as a philosophy, as a collection of cultural expressions, but for many of us it is our religion, and the divine does come into it. So the G is for gods. In my experience and in my circle of Druid friends, most people believe in more than one god. There are many pantheons of gods and goddesses to choose from. We tend to be inspired most by Celtic deities, just because that's where Druidry sits in the cultural spectrum. But our gods are by no means all Celtic. There are many belief systems and many ways to conceptualize the divine. And if you were to do a survey of Druids, you would probably find a variation of many of them represented. I don't think there are many hard atheists in Druidry, or people who believe that there is no such thing as a god or the divine. But there will probably be some agnostics, people who think that you just can't know one way or the other. Some people are monotheistic and believe there is only one god. That's certainly the case for people who called themselves Druids in the last few centuries. Many of them were practicing Christians, and some of those may have conceived of the different gods and goddesses of mythology as aspects of the one god. Many pagans are duotheists. That is certainly the case for Wiccans, who believe that all goddesses are one goddess and all gods are one god. They believe in the duality between the masculine and the feminine in nature and the way those concepts interact with each other. And then there is polytheism, the belief that the gods and goddesses are all separate and individual and have their own unique ways of interacting with the world and with people. And then there is animism, or the belief that everything in nature has a spirit, has a spark of the divine within it, and our way to relate to deity is through nature. Druids will generally fit in one of those belief systems, or sometimes even more than one. But I think that generally Druids will agree that the divine, in whichever way we conceive of it, is a window onto the oneness and the unity of all things. I tend to think of divinity from two different angles. One is from the bottom up and the other one is from the top down. The bottom up one is an animistic point of view. I sense spirit flowing through all things. And by spirit I mean the life force, the thing that makes everything vibrant and alive, flows through everything from the smallest pebble to the farthest star, and from an amoeba to complicated things like human beings. There are spirits of individual microorganisms, of an individual flower, an individual snowdrop that is coming up in the garden showing its little white head. And each individual tiny bird has its own spirit and sings its own song. But from a slightly wider perspective, the spirits of those things merge and meld together and make the spirit of a place. So the spirit of the place is made up out of the soil that happens to be there, out of the climate that prevails in that place, out of the trees, the grass, the flowers, the plants that grow there, out of all the animals that pass through, and indeed out of the people that make their mark on that place. Some spirits of place are easy to perceive, usually in sacred places like stone circles or sacred wells. People can really feel that this is a special place, and the spirit of place is really strong there. I can easily imagine that the spirit of a place, of a landscape where people live their whole lives, would get invested with a lot of meaning, layers and layers of association over centuries, that would make those spirits very strong and powerful, and they would become the gods of that people. They would also get invested with human qualities, and some of them would then become a deity of an aspect of human nature, like goddesses of love and gods of war, for example. And if you look at it from the top down, I strongly believe in the ultimate unity of all things. You can think of it as the spirit of the universe, or even the spirit that contains the universe. That ultimate unity expresses itself in everything that exists. It becomes planets and stars in the universe. It becomes the earth and all the creatures alive on it. It expresses itself as all the leaves on all the trees in the world. It just pours itself out in infinite creativity. So the one is in everything and is everything, including that annoying mosquito and your boss at work and all the way people express themselves. So it is in our anger and in our feelings of community, in our passion, in our creativity. And of course the one is also in the spirits of place and in the gods and goddesses that arise from them. Where the life force of the many meets the inspiration of the one is the place where creativity and life burgeon. The goddess I personally revere has no name. I'm not sure where exactly she lies between the one and the many, but she is a goddess of the dance of the stars, but also the goddess of the rocks that are the bones of the earth. I meet her in this changing of the seasons and in everything that grows upon her bones. There is no dogmatic view in Druidry about God or the gods and goddesses. It all depends on personal experience and the way individual Druids make meaning and revere the aspects of nature that are most important to them. What relationship do you have with the divine? Do you have practices that honour a particular deity? Or do you revere nature in a wider sense? Let me know in the comments below. If you've enjoyed watching this video, please click like and subscribe if you want to see the rest of the Alphabet Superset of Druidry. Don't forget to click the bell if you want to be notified of all the videos I make. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you all, and I'll see you next week for the H for Health.